Welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by to take a look at my Songbird Journal. I'm really excited about it. It's something different for me than I've done before. It is a massive journal. The spine is covered in a vintage quilt. You can see the layers of the front and back cover. You can see all of the ribbons and papers and different things poking out, creating interest in the silhouette of the journal. It is a 4.5-inch mouth, a 3.25 inch spine. Most of the papers, fabrics, laces that I have used are vintage, although I have included some printable digitals. So this first page is just a collage of papers. I'm really loving this piece right here. I don't know if you can see the color of it, but it has faded to just a gorgeous light blue, kind of a gray tone to it. It is from the 1950s. My mother-in-law sent it to her mother after she had gotten married, and the paper itself is a crinkly paper. It almost feels like an oilskin or something. It doesn't even feel like regular paper. And I have some vintage fabrics on the cover here. This just flips open, and this is a fabric flip. And I don't know if you can see that it is embossed, but we had talked about it and on a website and had decided that maybe we should try to starch it first next time to see if it'll hold better. This page is a collage of vintage wallpaper, piano paper, music paper, lace, placemat. This is a fabric belly band, and just inside is a small journal that I've put in. This is a lightly tea-stained coloring page, and I've just chosen to bring in pops of blue. You'll be seeing that throughout the rest of the journal as well. All right, this opens up to actually flip out. So this first page is an embossed frame. And if I can get it to work here, there we go. My fingers weren't working earlier. You can just put a card in that, and with the vellum, you can see through that. And that's a pretty writing card to use. The next page is a music page with a very stiff vintage fabric ribbon, probably for floral use or possibly craft use for that. And then the next page is just collaged. I love that pop of blue with the hydrangea. The next piece is actually a very tiny little journal sewn together. The cover is a vintage fabric for children's rooms. This was actually a curtain topper. And then just a couple of pages in there, the back page. This next page includes just a beautiful vintage embroidered linen. A couple of small pieces added to that. And there is another collaged writing card in that. The next page, which is actually the first page of the journal, is covered with a sheer sample curtain fabric. And then I also have a vintage embossed wallpaper on that. And some little tags of fabric. This is just a pocket page with several pages in there. The little booklet I have made out of a 1970s book, and I've just stapled in some pages to write on. Those could be removed and new ones added in. This is just a pocket to put a little bit of writing paper. A painted page. This is another embossed pocket that is actually hanging in a wallpaper pocket, and then inside of that is another vintage book page made into a writing card. On the back side of the wallpaper is a belly band, and again I have just created another little flip card that has multiple layers of paper in that, so that can be added to. This is just a tag to write on, a little bit of writing space here, that beautiful pop of blue again. The back side is another writing card, and this just has a note out of a verse out of a book and some more of that vintage fabric ribbon. Just some writing paper and vintage fabrics and laces. A little bit of a writing spot here. Of course, you can always add something in there as well. This is just a vintage lace down here also. Music page, just some stamping for some writing space. Of course, you can write in this area here and clip something to this if you wanted. The middle of the signature is a calendar page. I've included a vellum pocket and another stack of papers put together by Brad. So again, that is easily removed and added to. Just some more writing space. Another tag. This page has a French pleating on that. It is actually off of a vintage skirt, and I bought it so that I could use the pleating that's all around the skirt in my journals. Some old lace and just another vintage button that I love. I love that pop of color against the white and pink. Just an old bookmark. This is some more vintage, probably craft or floral ribbon. It's kind of stiff as well. Another pocket with a collaged writing card. The back side of the wallpaper. Some painted paper with napkin decoupage on that. This pocket has a couple of cards. This is a fabric covered and a paper writing card. And then this is a paint chip that has been collaged for writing. This page has a tuck out of some pretty vintage fabrics. And then I dried some of my little flowers and just put them in a clear window to be able to look at those. More writing pages. Another collaged card. I think this is beautiful. And I think it's important to be able to say that your own work is beautiful, because why would you want to be working and doing something if you didn't like it anyway? But I just particularly liked this. Everything on here is vintage except for the little bits of decoupaging with the napkin. This is vintage seam ribbon. More writing pages. This is out of my mother-in-law's wedding album, so it's old. It's from the 1956, I believe. Another pop of pretty blue, a turquoise blue against that neutral page and some yellows. Just more writing pages. This is a little accordion pull-out. Each little spot has a place that you can write in it. This is a vintage book page on flowers. You could obviously clip something to that, put pictures on it, whatever, or actually color it in like a coloring page. Just more writing pages. This is a double sided pocket. So the top pocket is more shallow, and then you have it on both sides, and then you have a very deep pocket on both sides that you can tuck items in. So there's plenty of tuck space there. More writing pages, painted papers, another tuck spot and writing spot. Some vintage lace, writing spots. Here's another pocket with some pretty collaged cards in that for writing. This is one of my favorite cards. I love how beautiful the bright white and black is against that pop of blue. I think that's so pretty. More writing pages. This is just a flip out envelope. It's just been collaged with some paper and napkin decoupage. And then of course you can put whatever you want to in the album, and then still write around here, add pictures or whatever you want behind that. Again, that beautiful color popping out against those pastels. More writing pages. This is just a paper clip. I've included just a book page in that, but anything could be added to that paper clip. A vellum and paper pocket added to this. It is just decoupaged with some napkins and just a little floral button. This is a thank you receipt that I've just added some fabric to. And you can just see that through that little bit of vellum. This pocket has another large writing card. This is a full page pocket here, and I've just paper clipped a small tag. You can certainly write on that tag and put a little something on that and use this as well. The back side of the pocket just has a very old vintage photograph or picture in that pocket, and then this is an old 1950s envelope. This page has a lovely little embroidered linen tuck spot and a card that has fabric on it and just some pages behind it for writing. This page just has multiple pockets, and so you have plenty of space for pockets, for tags, for writing paper, envelopes, whatever you'd want to put in there. The other page of the book, envelope, writing pages, another beautiful collaged card. Just a writing card that has been clipped to this page. Some fabrics there. Just some pretty trim, vintage trim, laces and linens. This is the end of the third signature. This starts the back cover. This is a fabric quilted page. I love that. The back side of it is a belly band, and then just another beautiful collaged writing card on a vintage floral informational card. This page has an vintage eyelet fabric on it and another little pretty card to tuck in there. The back has a flip, and there should be post-it notes here, and I knocked those out earlier and forgot to put those back in. This page is really beautiful. It does have a pretty little card in it that I like, but the stitching, it's stitched so that you can write on lines of stitching. It's embossed, and then it is has a pocket out of that 4-pleat cotton fabric. This page is just a vintage piano paper. Some collaged vintage pages except for the embossed page. A belly band out of the embossed vintage wallpaper and a card for that. And then the back of the journal just is some collaged pages. This was a wide sewn quilt piece, and I just came in with some colors to show the stitching design and just added a last little blue spot on the journal. So this is massive. It has been so much fun to make this, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Bye.